Okay. Well, now that I know it's actually recording, uh, if you saw a black screen for a little bit, that's because I had to. Okay. Long story short, I was like, hey, I can check out Windows 10, and I do have to say, before I say anything else, that if they get it working the way that it's supposed to be working, it is going to be a pretty damn good operating system. That being said, well, I mean, okay, basically, from what I saw, it works like 7. The start menu and everything they said in the about how the start menu will work and everything. I didn't actually try, but yeah, it looks actually like they got the stuff that people wanted, correctly. Uh, but yeah, I installed it the other night before I went to bed. I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to get this on there and then I'll fool around with it in the morning. It took me less than a half hour to. All right, screw it, and that was because I wanted to play with with Cortana and everything, and I'm impressed with Cortana's target, with Cortana's success rate. In terms of the actual how well it understands you and everything is pretty good. I'm not too thrilled with the how it actually works, but like I said, like everybody keeps saying, it is a technical preview, so it may end up actually coming out a lot better when they finally do the actual release. Uh, but it looks like 8. I don't like the new logo. I really prefer the Windows 7 logo. It is much more visually appealing. Uh, then again, you can hide hide the damn taskbar, so I don't, you don't see it and everything else. I really wish that they had kept the logo, and I'm really hoping that they provide the option to be able to change, the logo to what you want. Uh, really shouldn't be that hard, to be able to do that thing or whatever. I mean, because it is just a graphic file. Uh, but in any event, um, I ended up going back to 7, doing all my setup and everything else again. So that's why I had to make sure that my settings were correct on my camera and all. But as it stands, I mean, and I mean, for the most part, I mean, the Spartan browser, it's called Spartan for a reason. It's a browser. Seems to do pretty good and everything else. So Windows 10 looks like it may actually end up being, something decent. It's just right now, I personally can't use it. I didn't try out too many of the programs that I need. Like I use Pepakura Designer for different things. I ended up actually taking a piece off because of how I'm going to end up doing it and all. And the way the ring was around that centerpiece, it kind of made it offset some. And so I'm going to basically just put it in and then run some hot glue in there. Uh, and then so far I've got this basic mock-up going. Which I'm not really happy with the 8 segment deal because the actual one had 12, and so I'm going to try on this side to see if I can get the 12 segment deal going. That's, well, technically 24, but if you take a look at it, you'll see it's 12 12 lights, 12 wraps. But I can deal with the 8 if I have to. And I've got plenty of wire that I can just kind of, you know, if I go and undo it and then just kind of just very carefully, put it, one layer of the wire. This is basically just something to, this is basically just something to just get into my suit and go from there. So like I said, I got that. I'm going to try to get the 12 marked off. Whew. Anyway, I'm kind of stuck right now because the fact is I can't really do the next couple segments of my suit until I get more cardboard, which that'll be in the next day or two. Anyway, I ended up talking to the therapist who ran the program that I used to be at when I was a kid, and I'm still annoyed at some of the things that went on, but I'm no longer angry, because I could tell by listening to him, when I was telling him just a few things. He only had a few minutes to talk. He ended up actually going over a couple minutes, which I appreciated. Uh, but he heard some of the stuff that that I was still angry about, and he realizes that I have legitimate reasons for feeling the way that I did. The things that they did, they thought were the best thing at the time, and after hearing, like, when you did this to me, after saying this, and this about all of these reasons about why this was done to me over here, and now you're doing this to me, but you're doing completely the opposite of what you said you were going to do in these situations, such as, like, my CD was taken because a song on it made somebody else feel bad, so I was not allowed to even listen to that with headphones, or just to have the CD and not play it. No, I could not even possess the CD. And they even talked about the possibility of any other CD by that band could possibly no longer be allowed at the program. But yet, when they were doing the comic book cards, I was not allowed to have the female character cards, but everybody else was. And so he realizes that, yeah, what happened, he can see that he can, he realizes why I was so hard to connect to. I had a legitimate reason for being hard to connect to. I could not trust them. I realize now that what was done wasn't malicious, and then, like, I told him a couple things about how, well, there were some things that I won't get into right now because I'm actually getting ready to getting ready to go to a flea market with my wife, and I don't want to put myself in a bad mood. But there were things that happened that were said and discussed back then that he didn't remember, but he knows that, yes, it actually happened. Because, I even told him where it was, who was there, and what was said, and he was, he doesn't remember what it was because there was a lot going on or whatever. Oh, okay. So that will help. So I'm trying to figure out how to do a few specific things, and oh yeah, that will actually work nicely. Okay, anyway, uh, oh, very much, yes. Anyway, so I'm no longer really so angry, and I'm not really worried about, like, the kids that are still in his care and everything else, because he's a child psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever it is. He's actually not even a psychologist, he's an LICSW, but he supervises and plans treatment for juveniles. Uh, and so I'm no longer worried about going into the future so much. He and I are actually supposed to talk again pretty soon. If he doesn't call me, I will call him again. Uh, and I'm no longer worried about going into the future. In fact, I think after, especially after he and I really discussed the things that went on, how it affected me, and how what he's done may have affected others or anything else too. Uh, I think that from now on, what he does in the future is going to be of great benefit. Because you have to, when you're dealing with kids, you need consistency. You need for them to be able to trust you. And so, if he's doing things like he was, or had been doing things like he was, then I know that he is probably going to change. There were a lot of things that went on, like the fact that, I mean, like I said, he told me, he was saying about how your heart's getting, and I'm like, I couldn't trust y'all, and he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, how about the fact that, the 12 hours in isolation as a punishment, which was actually against state law? I mean, how am I supposed to trust you? And he sat there and he realized that, damn, that is true, you know? So when he and I talk again, we'll be able to actually go over a few more things and all. Uh, and I guess it's just weird to actually, I keep sitting, I mean, I used to not really make fun of, but just kind of like look cross-eyed at people who sought closure and whatever else. And I mean, I realize that I got a kid now, starting to actually have a life, and there were still a lot of things that were just bugging me, and I got tired of getting distracted by some of the ghosts from the past kind of deal. And I just have one eyelash that just keeps getting down into my field of vision. Um, so now I'm able to actually focus on my life and not having to wonder what's going on with whatever anymore. So that actually really feels good. In any event, I'm gonna get back to this thing because I really gotta try to get this figured out. If I can't do it very easily, then screw it. I'm just going to, just go with the 8, go on from there. In any event, thank you for continuing to watch and have a nice day. I will be doing some posts a little bit later on. Just getting into like what the plans are for the suit and stuff like that, and some of the upgrades that I'm going to be going. And also, I will be discussing what I'm doing with the rehabilitation methods that I'm trying to create and all, and the amount of glue that I've got to put on this damn thing to keep it shut. But yeah, the thing with the GoFundMe page, uh, like I said, I am trying to turn what I'm doing into a usable methodology. I do realize that because of what I'm trying to do, and like my personal interests and things like that, it's much easier to use what I'm doing as a rehabilitation method, and it still has validity, and I think I might even be able to turn it into something and then be able to apply it to the right client base and everything. Because I finally realized there is no universal methodology and everything. So, but being able to actually find something that is so effective for the kind of client that I am. So we'll see from there. But I do know that it is going to be a very good thing for homeschooling. To be able to use this to teach advanced concepts to children, or even for adults too, actually. To be able to sit there and say, be able to get people who don't understand anything about chemistry, and to be able to help teach them about catalysts, to be able to teach them about exothermic versus endothermic reactions. To talk about how physics acts when you talk about torsional stresses and things like that, compression stress, and so on and so forth, and everything. So it's basically a very good way to get things, across to people in a very accessible way. Um, well, in any event, I'm going to cap this off and then get back to work here. Anyway, y'all have a nice day.